I was hired by Will Tennyson, a YouTuber with over 3 million subscribers, to edit one of his videos, and that single edit exploded. It got 70 million views, pulled in 100,000 new subscribers, and held a mind-blowing 92% retention. But here's what most people miss. 98% of the watch time came from people who weren't even subscribed. This video didn't just perform well, it was breaking outside his audience and getting aggressively pushed by the algorithm, to the point that even 5 months later, it's still pulling in 40,000 views a day. I'm going to reveal how I use simple psychology to force replays and how I intentionally edited the video to trigger specific audience reactions, leading to multiple top comments with over 100,000 likes, and how you can use the same formula in your editing. By the way, I'm giving away the viral editing secrets behind my 500 million view edits for free. These are the exact techniques I've used to triple my income and blow up client channels. The link's in the description. I mean, seriously, it's free. Now let me ask you this.
Can the world's strongest man bend the world's strongest bar? Level 1, teenager. Level 2.
The music selection in this video was very, very strategic. It needed to be high energy right off the jump, but it also needed to trigger nostalgia. Now, you can't really trigger nostalgia with royalty-free music because nobody's really heard it. So what did I do? I went to go find some film scores. I literally took the Dark Knight soundtrack from actually Batman and put it underneath here. Now, a lot of YouTubers, they think we need something that's intense action. We're going to start with the drums right at the start. Hey, it works sometimes. I'm not saying that's bad. But consider the fact that if you start at 10, you can't really go higher. So I started with the music slowly building up. It's much harder to click off a video that's in the middle of a suspenseful build than it is once that suspenseful build has been broken. And the other benefit is the music choice itself. I knew for a fact that the next music track I picked was going to hit all the nostalgia buttons for Will's audience.
You need some chalk for this? This one is for men.
There's an animated show called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and it's about buff dudes doing cool stuff. Now, a lot of people watch that show and get inspired to improve their physique, get stronger, all that good stuff. The Weather Report theme is a song that 99% of people hear for the first time and they immediately decide is an absolute banger. And it plays for just 10 seconds, you'd never hear it again. So to be able to hear the song in full incentivizes a lot of people to continue watching, even if they're like, I don't care about a stupid grip test. Who gives a crap? I don't care about that. But they watch because, oh my gosh, yo, I remember that song. Where's that from? Even if they're not actively watching, but the video's playing, that's still analytics going up. So while they're just having the thing on their phone, they're just like, yo, I know that song. What is that? And they keep listening. Video's over. They go back to the spot. They listen again. Now you got to rewatch. Boom, just like that. All because you triggered nostalgia. And it compounds because then they comment about it. Look at all these comments about everybody talking about the Weather Report theme. Every decision I made in this edit was meant to trigger comments. If you want to take things to the next level, you need to consider what your audience is actually going to say. Not just how they're going to feel and then move on to the next video. Think about what they're actually going to comment. The more comments you get, the more repeat watches you get of other commenters trying to notice what other commenters notice, and then they want to see it, and then they comment on the other stuff that they notice, and it's just a giant spider web of replayability. So you need to be aware of the audience that you're reaching and pick music that's appropriate for that. And to go a step further, use music that they aren't expecting to hear. You don't want to go into every edit thinking, okay, well, what's the footage? Sneaker review? Okay, let's do hip hop. That'll freshen it up. Yeah, you're basic. How about you try something cool, bro? How about you subvert expectations in the genre? Many of the best comments I've ever received on my editing is people saying, I have never seen anyone use music like this, in an edit like this, in a genre like this, and it worked. Yo, I want to see more like this. You need to start doing that today. Seriously. Now hold on. Have you guys noticed the great editing on this editing breakdown? This entire video was edited by Ashley from South Africa, a brand new student in the Elite Editor Academy. Just a few months ago, she was charging as little as $100 per edit. Now she's making over $400 per video, And that's not some random gig. I personally hired her to edit this video using the exact psychology-based principles I teach inside the Academy. If you don't believe how powerful this editing formula is, just listen to what Will Tennyson said after hiring me to edit his videos.
He gave me the video and he just blew me away. We put that one out and that was like my fastest growing video ever.
Oh wow.
Yeah, ever since that video, that was like the changing point of my channel to this day. If you look at my channel and you scroll it and you see that video, anything after that, boom.
Ooh, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy part. Ashley got those same results after just one edit.
I went 3 months straight without landing a single job. That's when I found Josh. He doesn't just teach the editing tricks and retention hacks that we've all heard before. He actually teaches a very unique and specific approach to editing. Things that you will never learn from spending hours watching YouTube videos, and after applying what I had learned from him, with just one edit, I tripled my rates. I went from charging $100 per video to over $350 per video.
Most editors think they know what they're doing, but the ones inside the Academy are using strategies I've never shared publicly. These are high-level, repeatable techniques that get clients obsessed with your work and let you triple what you earn per edit. It changed Ashley's life, and it could change yours too. The link's in the description. Go check it out.
Yeah! Woo! Are you faking it right now?
No, that's okay.
Notice the immediate tone shift from aggressive EDM, and then we switch to mystery orchestral. It just immediately hits you with contrast, and it interrupts the pattern that's been developing. We've been listening to this song, and now we just switch to a totally different genre.
Yeah! Woo! Are you faking it right now?
No, that's okay.
That little subtle shift in the music is all the audience needs to know. Wait a minute, we've been going easy this whole time, but now the storytelling has shifted to focus on, uh-oh, it's getting harder. It snaps you out of the trance.
Things were going smooth until we hit the highest level. I couldn't even move this an inch.
Come on, you're a professional. You're a professional. Come on, you got it, you're so...
Another JoJo's Bizarre Adventure song. I was able to hit both recency and nostalgia. The first song, Weather Report, was from season 6. That just sort of came out, so it's fresh on people's minds. This song was from season 1. So you get to hit multiple different audiences. People that watched the OG season are being like, oh my gosh, I remember that. Nobody's expecting to hear a song from 12 years ago that still bumps to this day on a short that's about closing a gripper. They're expecting just some filler background music. They aren't expecting anything with some real emotion in it. So if you add emotion to it, you're already a cut above so many editors that just throw something together.
Come on, you got it, you're so...
It's actually starting to look harder than his world record deadlift.
Let's go!
Jesus Christ!
The music cuts out right when he says, ah! It just cuts out abruptly. That's obviously for comedic effect and dramatic effect, because this segment, I immediately realized when I first viewed it, it's gotta have no music for the rest of the edit. Eddie's grunts and moans were so hilarious on their own that any piece of music or sound effects, it was gonna ruin it. So I cut everything out. One of the biggest reasons why this short got 50 million views is that it had 32 different passes over the edit. And you may think, well, that's a bit excessive. Well, is it? If you can't watch your edit 32 times without all the makeup on, you know, the VFX, the music, the sound design, if it is boring to you without that stuff, the story isn't that great. I made sure that by watching the raw footage by itself, it had a beautiful story that was under 60 seconds. And at that point, everything just felt perfect. It felt like there was not even an extra second of useless anything. And then, and only then, can you add the music and the sound design. I want you to pay attention to the sound effect that you hear when the level is switched.
The world's strongest bar, level 1, teenager.
What is that sound? Where is that from? You might be familiar with it.
Strongest man, Ben,
Let's
the
listen.
world's strongest bar, level 1, teenager.
Yeah, it's a freaking shotgun about to blow your head off. But Josh, I thought we were supposed to use the exact sound that the object makes. It's got to be the exact same thing. No, you ever seen a Foley artist when they're like, oh, let's crack a bone? Do you think they go up to an actual human that's alive with a thriving family and just snap their leg in half? No, they get some cabbage. They're like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Woohoo. That's what you should be doing. But you're not. You need to be using sound design that doesn't actually make sense when you find out the source of it. I didn't just use this shotgun sound effect just to be weird. I used it for two specific reasons. Number one, it's another form of subconscious editing. If a person hears the sound of a gun cocking in real life, they're gonna jump. But if you're watching it on an edit, probably not. I don't think any person watched this edit, heard that sound effect and go, oh, who has a gun? Please, I have a family. No, that's not what I was going for. But if I can just add a sound that is familiar to the brain but also represents danger, it keeps your attention just a little bit longer than something that has no meaning to your brain whatsoever, just a nothing sound effect. The other reason I picked this specific sound effect is because I needed something that was memorable and would get to the point where the audience is looking forward to hearing it again. It doesn't get too annoying, it's not too loud, it's not too intrusive, but it's memorable.
Level 2, this is for women.
Women.
Another reason why this short got 50 million views is prioritizing the rewatch. Little things like this. Well, I just put the freaking stupid Kermit meme. It's not even that funny. It's just like, because the cut happens pretty quick, they're like, oh, what was that on his shirt? They watch it again. Oh, the Kermit thing. Okay. Reward the rewatchers. Reward the people that are going to watch it again.
This is for women.
Women.
That sound effect right there, it was added in post. When the music cuts off, when Eddie says, women, I watched it for the first time and I was like, this feels kind of empty. It's missing something. Adding that little squeak made what was originally a little bit of a lifeless scene have a little bit more life to it, a little bit more oomph. You're allowed to have pure silence in your edits, but you get to have it for longer if you interject a little subtle sound effect, even like that, or having a car horn honking in the distance, or some little thumping noise or construction or something like that. It lets you have zero dialogue for just a little bit longer.
It looked like it was for women.
You need some chalk for this? This one is for men.
I didn't want it to be dead silent after Eddie said it looks like it was for women. I wanted Will's voice to be heard. That's how you have a sort of ping pong conversation like it is in real life. We don't just want it to be one-sided. So I had a lot of dialogue available at my disposal. So I took a line from a totally different segment of the video.
You need some chalk for this?
He said that at a totally different time, but it was the perfect way to close that mini segment. Now I want you to pay attention to how absurdly quick I was zooming the camera forward to emphasize how hard Will was straining. And then,
I always knew it.
Once the tension is gone, we zoom it right back because we got to get Eddie's reaction, but we don't want to just cut to his face. We want to show them together to show that this isn't just a singular effort, it's a group effort. And that's how you make a story feel broad instead of just singular, isolated. You make sure you get everyone that's in the group actually in the group. A lot of people can edit in a way that makes it feel too isolating and you don't actually get the group connection feeling. But if you can somehow preserve that, that's when audiences will resonate with you the most. And if you still haven't signed up for my free viral editing secrets yet, yeah, you're missing the good stuff. It's a hidden playlist of my most valuable breakdowns, including edits that help generate over 500 million views. Just drop your email and I'll send you the link. Don't miss it.
Seriously, that hard?
Yeah.
That's fairly tough.
Yeah. Now the next.
Now this is supposed to be sort of a micro joke. We're kind of building up the theme of, oh, it's getting harder, it's getting harder, it's getting harder. Cut to Eddie. He's doing it so easily. He's just like, oh yeah, that's pretty tough. It's supposed to be sort of a micro joke. Look how easy it is for him. Even though, if you actually look at the full cut itself, it took Eddie a little bit longer to accomplish it. But by cutting at the end of him closing it, it just kind of emphasizes the joke. Oh yeah, that's pretty tough. Yeah, obviously not.
Now the next one is for perfect.
So at this point, we are now at the final two levels. So we want Eddie to struggle at this point. We just saw Will struggle to a crazy degree, but every time we cut to Eddie, for some reason, he's just not struggling. So we were all craving Eddie just suffering and enduring pain just so bad. We want to see him just on his hands and knees begging for mommy. And so that's what we're building towards the entire time. And hopefully we can get that release. Let's see.
Whoa. Yeah!
Now, this was a subtle little editing trick right here. When Will said, "Do you believe in me?" Eddie actually said, well, actually, what did he say? I forgot. This is what Eddie actually fully said.
Do you believe in me here?
Yeah, I've got faith.
It lost its punch for me when he said, "I've got faith." Because then it sounded pretty genuine, but it was a lot more comedic when you just have him sound so unconfident in Will. He just says, "Do you believe in me?" Yeah. And the music just cuts him off.
Whoa. Yeah!
Nobody commented on the fact that I did probably the most sus looking cut. Just, it's fully open, then it's closed. How am I even allowed to get away with a cut like that? Isn't that crazy? Yo, I should be locked up for real. Look at this. Look at this. He's struggling like crazy and it's not even budging. And then I cut and all of a sudden it's down to here. Everybody was talking about the sus cut of Eddie at the end. The harder levels had to be cut down because he was struggling for so long that I had to cut around it. And it was so funny because some people were like, the editor cut out the fact that he obviously didn't get it and they had to cheat. And then we posted the full uncut version and they were like, oh. At least with the Eddie one, you see a progression. It goes from wide, a little bit medium, to this, to this. But with Will, he goes from fully wide to fully closed. That's the power that music and the zooms, it just completely takes your attention off of what you technically should be focusing on, because it's not good to be deceived. You should be calling that out, but no one did. And I'm not just slowly zooming in, slowly zooming out. I'm slowly zooming in here, and then all of a sudden I'm slowly zooming out here. So it breaks the pattern. That is one of the bigger things that made this video go so viral. It's because every time the audience got used to a pattern, settled in, got comfortable, I broke the pattern. Every single time. Here's an example of me breaking a pattern. That little card thing I just did switched your brain into a different mode of thinking for even just a little brief period of time. Because you've been sitting here watching me, and I've been sitting in a chair doing the exact same thing. And then I broke the pattern. Your brain goes, wait, what? Oh, okay, we're good again? Okay. And then I'm gonna break the pattern again. Now, I'm not saying you just gotta do random dumb crap to get people's attention. The story is the biggest part at the end of the day. If you have a crap story, it's not gonna work, guys. It's not gonna work. All this little flashy stuff you're doing, you have to find the story before you add all the fancy stuff.
Whoa. Yeah!
Woo! Are you faking it right now?
The other trick I've been doing is cutting at the peak of the emotion. The moment that Will is fully satisfied with the lift, we're gone. And then you get this quick cut of him just going woo. Why? We could have just cut away, but having variance is extremely important because, again, it resets the pattern.
Okay, there we go. So that's for professionals.
Professional.
That's fairly tough.
And now our last level is for professionals again, but elite professionals.
That was a confusing bit of the video that I did not want to leave in. What do you mean by that? Okay, this next one is for professionals. Okay, this next one is for professionals, but for elite professionals. Huh? Oh, it's for the professionals. Oh, it's for professionals? Yeah, it's for professionals. Oh, for professionals? Yeah, it's for professionals. Like, bro. So here's what I actually ended up leaving in.
Okay, there we go.
Things were going smooth until we hit the highest level.
Think about how much better that is.
Things were going smooth until we hit the highest level. I couldn't even move this an inch.
Come on, you're a professional.
We don't even bother showing Will struggling for longer than a few seconds because it would nullify and disinterest the audience towards Eddie Hall's super long grind. I can't just show Will struggling for 20 seconds and then show Eddie Hall struggling for 30 seconds. If I want that last section to be the most impactful and show the most footage of it, I have to reduce this section down.
I couldn't even move this an inch.
Come on, you're a professional. You're a professional. Come on.
That was very intentional timing right there. It just felt so comedic for Will to just be calmly talking, you're a professional, you're a professional. You can't really even hear Eddie grunting at all while he's saying that. And so you're kind of like, okay, well, it looks like he's straining, but I'm not really sure. And then the moment you go, I'm not really sure, and it's just the most intense burst of energy.
Come on, you're a professional. You're a professional.
Having the wind noises cut off Will was essential for making it more comedic, more aggressive. So let's hear it right now.
You're a professional. You're a professional.
Isn't that crazy? It just has so much more punch. It's kind of like in the movies when you watch a scene where it's like, what are they gonna do? Kill me? It's that type of timing.
You're a professional. Come on, you got it. You're so.
Now I want you to pay attention to that sensor beep sound that you just heard. Did you hear when Eddie cursed? He said the F word and I censored it. Remember that. You're gonna need to know that later. When I first heard Eddie Hall straining so hard that it sounded like he was screaming in a wind tunnel, my headphones were at 100% volume and it was so loud that I couldn't help but bust out laughing. I just sat there with tears in my eyes thinking this is the funniest thing ever. That is so loud. He is pushing so hard. And then I thought to myself, well, what if the audience doesn't get that same feeling? So what I did here, I raised the volume of his dialogue up until it hit 0 dB. I turned it all the way up to 0. That's insane. Just so that the audience would comment on it and be like, oh my gosh, that was so much louder than everything else. Hollywood does it all the time, and sometimes it pisses people off because they're like, how come I listen to a dialogue scene and it's so quiet like this and I can barely hear what they're saying? And then there's an explosion. You're like, gosh, turn the remote down. Gosh darn, it's so loud. Yeah, it gets annoying at a certain point, but if you do it strategically, it can emphasize the impact of certain moments. I mean, look at this comment here. Come on, you're a professional. If you're still watching and haven't grabbed the free Viral Editing Secrets Guide or joined the Elite Editor Academy, you're not just leaving something on the table, you're actively holding yourself back. The guide's free. The Academy is life-changing. Ashley's proof of that. Both links are below. Don't be that guy watching the sauce and choosing starvation.
It's actually starting to look harder than his world record deadlift.
Let's go.
Jesus Christ.
Right there, right there.
Now this part right here, I specifically kept in because I had a lot of Eddie's grunts to choose from. Now, obviously I kind of went with the loudest, most aggressive ones first, but I also picked the ones that had Will in the background kind of doing this moan thing. He wasn't doing it on purpose, but he was kind of like, gosh, I hope you get it. And then when I listened to the whole edit, it literally just sounded like if I closed my eyes, that they were just, well, you know, you're just going to want to turn the volume down if your parents are nearby. And so I kind of kept it like that on purpose, hoping to drive comments. Because if you close your eyes and listen to this, I mean, it sounds pretty, I mean, just listen to it.
Jesus Christ.
Right there, right there.
I mean, guys, he's like, right there, like, bro, what? What is he doing with the fingers? What is he doing with the fingers? Why is he doing that? Why is he doing that? What's he doing with those fingers? What did he say? He just moaned. Like, you see what I mean? That's why I kept it in. The contrasting dialogue is what makes the edit stand out so much. If you just have two characters that talk the same and act the same, it could be interesting for a while, but it gets plain at a certain point. So if you have someone doing a loud yell, and then you have, hi, my name's Sprinkles, it's just stupid and funny and it works. So you have Will doing a feminine moan, World's Strongest Man doing a masculine grunt. You put them together and it just has this lovely bounce to it.
Right there, right there.
And that final yell was also so essential. You got this grunt where it's like, and then you get the middle grunt, and then you got the finishing grunt. That's a finishing grunt. Oh my gosh, my vocal cords are cooked. Okay.
Fuck off.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Now, it is so essential. I don't think you guys understand how essential it was for Eddie to end the video by saying F off. That was arguably one of the most important parts of the short, because you don't want to end with how it actually ended, which is like, oh, how you feeling? You doing good? Oh, that was a great attempt. Good job, man. Like, no. You want to rewatch it after that because it just, the delivery of it is so perfect.
Fuck off.
Like, dude, it's just funny. But the reason I told you to remember that I censored his F word earlier in the edit is so that you could realize that I didn't censor it at the end of the edit. Now, why would I do that? The reason is censor sound effects can go two ways. They can either increase emphasis or decrease it. If I were to censor that F off, it wouldn't have been as funny, wouldn't have been as dramatic. And trust me, I tested it. It wasn't. It didn't hit as hard. It was just like, beep off. So what did I do? I left it as a single F word. He could have said anything like, piece of cake, made a joke. No, he was just over it. He's like, yo, this video's over. We're done. And that is one of the funniest ways to end it. It's as good, if not better, than the way that C.T. Fletcher ended a video with Will Tennyson. Just like this.
Any last words for everybody watching?
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
And if you think I'm overhyping the impact of that statement being vital to be the last statement you hear at the end of the edit, look at this comment here. They got 175,000 people to agree. F off. You know it's serious. What more can I say? During this whole video, we've been building suspense, breaking it, building suspense, breaking it. The music cuts off, we're breaking it. We do a comedic cut, we're breaking it. After building tensions for so long, once we actually get to the end of the video, when it's time for the hardest lift ever, the music's cut off. The audience is used to the hardest thing being the one accompanied with the loudest, bombastic, most fantastic track. But it's carried up into that point until it just turns into, oh my gosh, please, Eddie, just get it. Please, I'm begging you. The other thing to note is just some very basic VFX work the entire video. Every time Will switches to a different level, the screen darkens, and then you get this lovely glow and highlight effect, and it's also got this weird, interesting blinking effect. So it just draws your eye to that, and it makes the edit more interesting than if I were to just leave the raw, uncut version, which just looks like this. Kind of mid, especially if it didn't have the sound effect underneath. And it's the fact that every single time Will switches a level, the camera is slowly being digitally zoomed in to emphasize, ooh, we're on to the next level, we're going into it. Oh, it is a balance between close-up shot, wide shot, zooming in, not zooming in, VFX shot, not VFX shot. It's just a give and take. Now I'm about to break down the most boring editing I've ever seen that somehow gets 10 million views per video by purposefully breaking every editing rule you were taught, done by none other than America's favorite YouTuber, Ryan Trahan. And if you're not studying him, you're already falling behind the editors making tons of money who are. And you can watch that video here.